All right, we are rolling. There we go. Wow. Rocking. You made it back, kids. You made it back. It's the Shlicketty Newcast, guys. Oh my gosh, we're at episode who knows where. But thanks for tuning on in. It's the Newcast. I'm your host, Aaron Forsyth. And before we go, guess what? Part of the ritual, we know you like it. This is where we're at. Oh man. That's some high-grade production there. High-grade. Speaking of the man with the high-grade production. Oh, here he is. I think the elevator doors are ringing. Who's that's a-knocking? It's Mike Anderson.
Stupid doors. We got to get these things fixed.
Oil them up. Squirt some WD-40 in there.
Where's the super?
Do they still have the old oil cans like they used to put in the old Tin Man?
Man, probably.
Or is it just spray now?
Probably somewhere for some purpose there is.
Yeah, somebody somewhere has one of those old oil cans. Remember the old rectangular one with the...
Yeah, it's probably like the guy that runs those big giant tracked cranes that like dig stuff up in quarries and stuff.
Right. Or it's down on Grandpa's work desk. What?
It's like he gets a rock stuck in the tread and he just hits it with a
Right.
squirt.
Clink, 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 clink. Get the old oil, yeah.
Hits it with a big hammer. Knocks the rock
Remember
out.
when WD-40 could fix everything?
WD-40 is fairly handy, but...
Same with the Windex. The Windex was the unsung hero. The Windex.
I use Windex to clean the glass top stove. I know it's probably not the most effective thing, but it cuts the grease.
Oh, yeah, it is a grease cut. I have a Windex, or I have a thing for the glass top stove.
Like the cleaner or
It says for glass top stove.
Yeah. Is that the...
I don't know. Got out the old TJ Maxx.
It starts with a W or something like that? The brand? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if you go to the clearance, you ever go to the clearance section of a TJ Maxx?
I don't know. I didn't know we had a
it's
TJ
the one
Maxx.
place you would,
I had no
a TJ Maxx, you wouldn't expect it, but you go into the used or in the clearance section, there's always weird things like that. You'd be like, huh, I got this spray. It was like a spray in a spray bottle, and it was sneaker cleaner. And he goes, sneaker cleaner? All right, let's try it out. I brought it home, sprayed it on the sneakers, did what they said, put it outside, let it sit, brought it back in. Wow, it cleans the sneakers. Then I got the glass top thing you're talking. It comes in a paste and you kind of put it on. Yeah,
well,
weird.
it comes in like the bottle that with the little flip top and then you squeeze it out. That guy? Yeah. Yeah, that's the most common. Yeah. Weedman's or something like that? Or
I don't even think it had a name.
Because we started getting it at our house in Mesa, we had this giant fridge that was like stainless steel. It was the kind of stainless steel that if you fucking touch it, like the fingerprints stay, and you could like wash it with like soap and water, but the fingerprint's not coming off. So you had to get this special stainless steel cleaner. That was the company that made it. So we're looking at the stainless steel cleaner, and then it's like, oh, glass cooktop cleaner, because the burners always get the scorch marks.
That's right. Or your main burner, like we have the one main burner, the main work one, and that one's always got some kind of skunk.
Yeah, some gets spilled on it and cooked in, and it turns into like, carbon residue.
Yeah, and you're like, squeaking and scrubbing it. I know. The electric, I know. She keeps saying, we need to get gas stove. Fuck this electric stove.
That's what my girlfriend says too, and it's like, oh my God, I think the house next door just got gas laid on this past year. Looked like it was a fucking hassle.
I don't know. I don't mind the electric part, but okay. All right, if you say so, we're going.
I know. It's like, well,
I mean, is your food going to taste any different if it was cooked with gas or if it was cooked with electric?
I mean,
it's all convection, right?
I've had like she had gas at her house in South Tempe, and you get used to it. And it is pretty nice.
Yeah, I remember it.
And then we had to go into an apartment, and it had an electric stove, and we totally didn't think about the stove getting the apartment. And then once we like moved everything in, we went to the kitchen, and we're like, fucking electric stove, those goddamn things again. The main thing is having to wait for shit to warm up. Like I go in the morning, I put down the pan, make some eggs, I fucking turn it on. Like, you cook eggs at like 3.5, right? But the thing about the 3.5 is it's only on for a certain amount of time and then it's off. for a certain amount of time. So it takes like, 10, 15 minutes to get fucking hot enough to cook the fucking egg. And it's like, I gotta go to work. Like, it's like breakfast. Like, you know.
I find with my electric stove, it's like, oh my God, it's on, and it's like boiling red on 10, and then you go, okay, I want to go halfway. I don't want to start a fire. I want to turn it down to halfway. You can go half-mast, and it ain't enough. So it's mine's like either super or none. It's like, this thing stinks. Get rid of it.
But that's the thing with the gas stuff, You put the pan on there, it's hot in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's open flame.
Yep, ready to rock.
it's like, oh, put the can of beans on there, hobo style.
Yeah, but keep an eye on them because they'll get burned.
Hobo beans.
Hobo beans. Yeah.
You're just talking about hobo beans. You just made some hobo beans tonight.
Tramps on the train, yeah. Tramping it on the trains.
Tramping.
So I got a letter from my insurance company. I gotta get trees trimmed around the house, which tree trimming is like expensive.
Wait a minute. So your homeowner's insurance, right?
Yeah. So a dude came out like I don't know a month ago.
That's what I was gonna say. Did he come out on his own free will, or did you call him?
He just showed up. I was outside doing yard work, and he's like, oh, there you are. Yeah, I'm with State Farm. They just need to walk around doing a quick inspection on the house or whatever. I'm like, okay.
I didn't know they did that.
I didn't either, but
seems kind of fishy. I know. I've never heard of homeowners walking around your house. You sure?
Well, now I got a letter from State Farm saying that the underwriters have said that you got to trim back any leaves or branches, not leaves, but any branches that are like overhanging the house or the garage, any other structures, as I say, and take out any like dead bushes or whatever. Which I don't know that I have any dead bushes, but like I said, I know there's some bushes out on that front side of the house. Seems kind of weird.
I mean, I understand the overhanging bushes. Okay, fine. We don't want it to crash on the roof. I get it. But the bushes? I mean, how many houses do you see? You drive by, they're overgrown. It looks like Vietnam over there.
Oh, it's not overgrown because I like basically cut them down.
I've seen your bushes. Year. I mean, they're a little tall, but they're not like I've seen worse.
There's one of them that's like right on the front corner it's gone stupid. It used to be like a bushy guy, right? But we were going to take it down because it was just getting a little out of control. Yeah. So we ended up just taking down like a chunk of it. It started growing weird. It started growing this big central spire that started shooting off of that. And so now it's like 8-10 feet high. It's like, yeah, of course that looks like it's a dead thing. It's just a weird aberrant growth. But yeah, I'm going to...
Yeah, I would give it a high and tight. Yeah, fucking saw it right off.
If I need to, I got an oscillating saw, so I can get down there and cut out some of those root chunks.
Yeah.
You ever see those oscillating saws? It's like a bone saw. It's like what they use for cutting through bones.
No, it's kind of scary.
It's like I
know what a bone saw is.
It's like
makes me cringe.
Yeah, the motor's like this, and then it's got a flat blade, and it's got little teeth on the front of the blade, and it just wiggles back and forth. Just oscillates.
Ooh, bone saw.
Yeah, because it's like my other saw is like a I forget what you call it. I don't know.
Tool?
No, it's a reciprocating saw. You know what I mean? So it goes back and forth like this.
It agrees with you?
Huh?
Oh, no.
It's great for trim. It's great for trimming branches, but if you got to try and dig something out like a root, like cut a root that's in the dirt,
yeah,
it's not gonna work.
No. Yeah, I find that weird how anyone out there, if you're a homeowner or dealt with homeowner, have you ever heard of the agent walking around your house? I mean, I understand first time in, sure, let's check it out. But I mean, just to go,
that's the thing.
I was just in the neighborhood and I was carrying the clipboard around and I want to take a look at your,
It's not the agent though.
No, he's just the intern who's out, looking at.
Yeah, he's the inspection guy. But yeah, nobody ever came and looked at my house when I got the insurance 2 years ago.
Oh, maybe that's
I just called them up on the phone. Yeah, they've never seen it.
So maybe at some point you were on the list of.
Yeah.
We
haven't got the inspection yet. Let's swing by and check it out.
We'll just give it to them now and we'll hope for the best because the old homeowners are fine and okay. And then eventually send out, the dude.
Yeah. So I guess he was there from the underwriters. Because the underwriters want to know all the angles and shit like that. And, they got a point. Tree's crazy and out of control and giant. So
I had a theory when you asked me about do I know any tree trimmers, and they can get expensive. And I see star signs, or there's a star company around town, whatever, big eggs. But I go, they maybe get expensive. And then I was thinking, well, where's the Amish when you need them? Or where's the gypsies coming through and the 8 kids in the back of a truck? You get up there, come on, Junior, get up there, Isaiah, get the hacking. I'd like to see if something like that. But then I got to thinking, I'm like, maybe, which I'm going to ask the folks out there, any tree trimming people around the Erie area? Because I tell you what, we'll give you a free commercial break for a few days, a few episodes. How about that? A little trade, a little lickety-slickety-do. Yeah, you help Mike out, and you know what we're going to do? We'll give you some free ad space. You could be the first of our commercials. Look at that. Quid pro quo.
Quid pro do.
Ooh, and there's not a damn thing no one can do about it. No money will exchange hands. It'll be favors.
Barter.
Barter
System.
Can you imagine? I know. Once the system collapses eventually here, yeah, bartering will be funny. Yeah, we keep carrying beaver pelts in the country fair.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I got 16 mice on a coat hanger, and I'm ready to trade you. I'll trade you that for some milk.
Like mice and rats.
We'll have all our tails tied together on a coat hanger. Oh, God, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a lot of dumpster diving.
Right.
Mm.
All right.
What else you got?
I've seen a couple movies.
Oh, boy. Now, you're not in the theater. You're talking on television. Something new, something old, something true, something blue? What are we talking here? Movies.
A couple of new things.
All right.
Kind of similar.
All right.
One dude's in both of them. He's in both.
Oh, same actor. So this was an actor. You go, all right, I like Johnny Cricket Legs. I'm going to go see his next movie.
No, it was the main movie came out, and I heard about, I think Mark Bernardin was talking about it because he had seen it at some sort of film festival that he was talking at.
All right.
And he said he really liked it. And so I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I want to see that. And then...
what's the movie? Well, what's the actor?
David DeSmulchin.
Don't know. Okay, what's the movie?
That one is Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil. Late Night with the Devil. Okay, never heard of it.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of a small independent movie.
Oh, okay.
I think looking at the credits, I think it's an Australian production.
Well, that's kind of off the beaten track-a-roo there, huh?
Not necessarily. A lot of good Australian films.
Are we talking horror? Are we talking...
yeah, sort of horror.
Suspenseful horror?
Yeah.
Or are we talking gory horror?
Mostly sort of suspenseful.
I like suspenseful. Supernatural?
Yes.
All right. We've got... Now, when they say the devil, is it the devil, or is it just that's just something they call the title just to get us all into it?
I don't know.
Or is it more demonic?
I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah, probably. Well, probably it is. I don't know.
Give us a Siskel and Ebert breakdown.
Sorry, I'm all phlegmy. So the main thing is it's a period piece. It's set in 1977, Halloween night. The whole plot is the main character is a late night TV show host, and he's in a ratings war with Johnny Carson. He's had his high points, he's had low points, his contract's about to get renewed or not, and so he's desperate for a hit, right?
Okay.
So he's coming back after like a hiatus where he
got me there.
Snapped on the air, right? Okay. So
I like it.
So he's gonna have on. So this one guy that he has on is like a guy who's like a mystic and he can like channel ghosts and stuff, right? This other guy that he has on is like an Amazing Randy type guy, where it's like, there's like an ongoing bet of $500,000 to prove the existence of something actually paranormal that isn't a scam or whatever. So there's that guy there, the hard skeptic guy. And like I said, it's all 1977, so they're wearing the wide lapel suits.
Sure, smoking cigarettes?
Yeah, and the backdrop's all like, painted like the Too Close for Comfort apartment. Shit like that.
I like that. I like an accurate period piece. I'm cool
with
it. I love it.
And they're also including it down to, mixed media. Like they're using actual like TV cameras to shoot shit. And then when it's not, because it's mostly set up like you're watching the show. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing. But anytime they kind of go off of that, they'll go to like, some sort of black and white handheld 16 millimeter or something like that.
Of course, that's how you do it.
Yeah. So it's really well put together. It's really well done. It's designed to sort of suck you into it for 90 minutes. And it does it pretty effectively, man. It's pretty nice.
Any twists?
Just gotta watch, man.
Yeah.
Late Night with the Devil.
I like a period piece. Speaking of this, reminds me of the 77, I got to thinking about it.
Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. There's 4 guests on the show. There's the psychic guy, the skeptic guy, and then there's this psychologist lady who wrote a book, and she's been working with this girl, this like 10-year-old to 13-year-old girl. She's been working with her like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so they brought them on the show. And so that's where the devil comes in, is that, she may be possessed of something, or she may be something.
Or a magnet toward, a lot of times those kids are magnets.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's it. So it's the host, 4 guys, studio audience, you know what I mean?
There we go.
Camera guy, producer.
What's
guy.
it called?
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
Yep. So that just
I like
came
the sound
out.
of that. Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, I just bought it on Amazon or whatever.
I like the period piece. I watched something last night and I didn't get all the way through it because I dozed. But it was a period piece, kind of, and it was filmed in 1983 in New York City, and it was like a hooker girl who was doing porn, but then she was getting stalked by a murderer who was killing her fellow call girls. It was called Maxine or something. You ever hear of that?
Oh no, that's an HBO series.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, that's not from back then.
Oh.
That's current. That's now. They're just making that now.
No, I know that, but they made it look like it was from 1981.
Yeah.
The music and everything. It was very,
Well, it's
very.
It's like they did that with that Joker movie. You know what I mean? It very much looked like the old 1970s New York City, the taxi driver.
And the chick's agent was the guy from Breaking Bad, the black guy.
I never watched Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay, yeah, he was the chicken man. He was her agent. Now, it was funny. He'd call her up on the phone.
Wait, do you mean Giancarlo Esposito?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I know Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, he was great. He was good in it. And it's funny. They had little references in it that would shoot you back to 1983. Mm-hmm. Well, that only I almost called you up. I was like, dude. So he calls her on the phone and he goes, yeah, you didn't get the part for the rock video. Yeah, the band, Lizzie Borden. And she goes, I really wanted that part. She goes, yeah, Lizzie Borden went with somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they played a song as she's like, hangs up the phone. She starts walking out of the room. And then they're playing an old Rat song in the background. And not Round and Round. This was like a B-side or that. I was like, oh, I've heard that one. That's our old Rat song.
Yeah.
And it was right back to 1983. So 2 references in 2 minutes of 80s metal that I was like, oh my God, nobody knows Lizzie Borden. Nobody knows this old Rat song. And then she's got like an old roller skating jacket on, and then the wood paneling on the walls.
Yeah, the leftover remnants of the 70s.
Yes, that's what it was. 83. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was 80s aesthetics mixed with the 70s aesthetic. You know?
That's the texture, man.
Yeah,
That's what I was telling you about.
They did a good job.
That Sex Pistols miniseries that's on Hulu or whatever. Pistol, based on Steve.
Yeah,
Jones'
you're talking
book.
about that,
dude. The texture in it is amazing. There's a lot of it that sort of like looks and feels real. Like I think they're actually playing the fucking instruments.
for once.
Yeah.
That pisses me off. That's why I will not watch a rock anything. Those remakes of when they're not even near the actors out there. If you're ever going to do a rock part and you're going to play the guitar, learn the fucking part.
Yeah, I think they're actually playing.
Good.
Because they're like trying to figure out how to play, trying to write songs.
Well,
And that
Sex
sort of
Pistols not
that
very hard.
sort of halting, not being sure, sort of thing. You can't track to that.
Yeah.
And
And you have to know an instrument to be able to act that. It's kind of like you ever see an actor who doesn't smoke, you can tell they don't smoke. But you can tell when they really do smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a thing. There's a certain way you hold a cigarette, you exhale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell when an actor is a real smoker or was a real smoker.
Yeah, I was watching, I'm perpetually rewatching Sopranos all the time. And there's a scene where when Janice first comes back to town, she's over at Tony's house, and she goes out back, and then he's like, what's she doing? He goes out back with her, and she's like lighting up a cigarette, and he's like, let me hit that, And so neither one of them smoke cigarettes. And you can totally tell.
As in real life.
It's like, and he's like,
You're right.
and he's like, let me hit that. It's like they don't inhale. It's like they hold it weird. It's like, it's a thing.
That's not how, smoke, and music is the same way. Nothing worse than oh, it drives me nuts. Like you'll see a music biopic and it'll be like the drummer's just like ding, ding, barely.
Oh, yeah.
Ting, ting, you know, and the drums are off. It's like, oh, you got a crash cymbal for a ride. And, you know, it's like, who's making the set here? Who know, you know, the guitars aren't even plugged in sometimes or, you know.
All right, let's talk biopics for 5 minutes here.
Music biopics?
Yeah, music biopics.
I get pissed at them. I get really pissed at them.
All right, how pissed did you get at the Queen one? The Bohemian Rhapsody?
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much because, well, they had to condense that in a time. Now,
Yeah.
I feel like it was made all right. It was filmed pretty good. And the acting was pretty good. I just feel like they crammed it all in. They had to do it in dialogue.
If
really that would have been a 6-part miniseries, I think they could have achieved it way better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there was covering way too much ground. Nothing was actually getting any sort of, like everything I actually wanted to find out about was just like glossed over.
Yeah, I know. And nobody, and here's another, my pet peeve of music biopics. We don't go to band practice in our stage clothes. Stop with that. You know, they did it for Motley Crue. They did that when they did it in all these other ones. They're going, you know, they're wearing their stage clothes. You know,
like the platform shoes to the rehearsal.
And trust me, we never put our hands in a circle and say we're going to change the world. Fuck off.
No.
Yeah, the music I know. I swear, it's like non-musicians make biopics. It's like because they must romanticize about what the life could be like. Well, try being a rock star, and I'll guarantee you it's not like that. You know.
Well, you know, all right, well. I was gonna say the other thing I also noticed is like when California filmmakers do some sort of depiction where people are like in snow and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like they'll have scenes where like somebody comes outside and they leave the door open. It's like, no, you don't leave the door open when it's fucking winter outside.
Yeah, I imagine like if somebody goes here and film a TV evangelist, I would probably make them all like, you know, I'd make them all goofy and over the top. Where TV evangelists might not be that goofy and over the top. You know what I mean? Or, you know, it's. I guess it's the filmmakers romanticize about a situation and they exaggerate it.
Oh well, I was just saying with the winter thing, it's like they're not used to winter, so there's things that like they don't get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
the way you pre-dress for going out. You know.
Yeah,
or,
stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, or make that, and when they try to film it, but they're not in the cold, so you don't see, and they gotta put the breath in post.
No, they just,
and there's none of them ever have snot hanging out of their face, whereas 9 times out of 10, if we're here in the cold, we all got snot hanging off our pusses.
Yeah, but they do in some of them now.
Right,
like the Thing.
Yeah,
because like in the Thing, they just refrigerated the set.
Right, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, they made that cool.
You got to literally be there, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, pet peeve. So what else about biopics? All right.
What about, do you remember the Rocket Man, the Elton John one?
Oh yeah, that one was kind of like a weird dreamy musical. That I kind of didn't mind, other than I'm not you know me, I hate the musical, but that one I didn't mind because it was more like a weird ongoing dream sequence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it like the camera would spin, kind of like at Elvis. The camera would spin, and then he'd be in another scene, and then the camera would spin back, and he'd be in the children's scene.
Right.
You know,
right.
So it was kind of. I didn't mind that. It was a little bit let's flex our film might, but if you can do it, okay, cool.
Well, and I think that's the thing. I mean, he was involved with it, so I mean, I think it was probably like can we do a big song and dance number here? And they're like, yeah, we can. Yeah. Like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, and they were doing a big song and dance number, and then they zoom back to like him and his mom and his dad having dinner and him getting yelled at, and then zooming back to him on stage, Well,
my whole thing about the biopic, whether it's a music biopic or not, is at the end of it, do I feel like I know that person better? Do I know who they are better?
Right.
And definitely in that the Rocket Man one, the Elton John one, I definitely got that sense. I felt like I got a better idea who Elton John is.
Yes, and I felt for him, and I felt more lost for him, and I felt like I understood why he was as eccentric as he was.
Right.
He was overcompensating and overcompensating for everything because of that.
Right.
Elvis the same way. That Austin Butler did Elvis one pretty good.
I love that Elvis movie.
Yeah,
I bought that.
I was first to poke holes in it, and then when I saw it, I was like, no, this is actually pretty good.
Once again, made in Australia.
Okay.
And if you get the chance, like watch that behind the scenes stuff, like how they made it.
Oh yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Dude, they made whole city blocks.
Mm.
That whole like downtown Memphis thing. Where
Yeah,
like,
when they made was it?
playing the club and the people
Yeah.
like hanging out the upstairs window doing they built all that.
That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, those scenes were the best with Little Richard as a young kid, you know, and
But yeah, because that's that Baz Luhrmann.
yeah.
Baz Luhrmann's really good. He does really visual stuff.
And once again, the Elvis movie, they didn't really.
Yeah, that was Austin Butler kid was fantastic.
Yeah, he really did good.
Yeah.
They didn't go into. Whenever you hear stories about rock and roll and how come Little Richard doesn't get more props and more, you know? I mean, they had 5 scenes with Elvis and B.B. King talking, but Little Richard was just kind of like an afterthought. Oh, okay, just bring him out. Good, you know, and he strolls off, you know, but it's like, Little Richard is a fascinating character, and he is arguably the king of rock and roll.
But he doesn't really factor into the Elvis, you know, scene.
Yeah, but if he was in the same club at the same time, you would think he would. I mean, they had to do B.B. King. You know, they gave B.B. King 3 times.
Well, I mean, they make it seem like they were friends. Maybe they were friends. I don't know. I don't know anything about Elvis.
Yeah, that's true. That's the part I don't know. Were they truly
I
friends?
mean, Elvis was honestly almost kind of before our time.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up just knowing Elvis as like the concept of Elvis.
Yeah.
And then the whole Vegas Elvis thing.
Yeah, I know Vegas Elvis. You're right. It's
That's all
funny
I
how
knew.
I discovered Elvis was when I was a kid. Get this. For some reason, my parents laid on us Bay City Rollers and a shit ton of, get this, Donny Osmond and the Osmonds.
Oh, dude, that stuff was everywhere.
Okay, so I had this huge thing of Donny Osmond. I even went and I got blue suede shoes. I got a blue denim suit.
Oh, really? Like the 70s one with the orange?
No, it was just blue. It was a blue denim.
But orange stitching?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, and it had a little trim. I had that, and then I actually had blue suede shoes, right? So this goes back to the Elvis thing. I thought because I was like, all right, I'm going to wear my blue suede shoes.
This
to
goes
church.
back to the variety shows.
Yes, and I thought all these Elvis songs, Donny Osmond was aping Elvis,
Right.
who was aping everybody
Because
else.
I remember when we were kids, like 7, 8, shit like that.
Right.
The Donnie and Marie show was on Friday nights. I remember.
All right. Oh, that's probably where
Because these variety shows in the 70s were an epidemic.
Yes.
Everyone was doing them all
And they're
over.
cross-pollination, and that's, you know, yeah. And
Like Sonny and Cher had a variety show. The Brady kids had a variety show. The Mandrell sisters had a variety show.
yes, and they would mix genres, and they'd have sing-alongs and goofy skits and
Yeah.
walk-ons.
And it was very vaudeville-y, you know.
Which I'm surprised they don't have them nowadays. I'm surprised they haven't
I think
done a
that's
modern
just,
twist on it.
That was just that generation that we kind of grew up with. You know, our early TV days was like this older, like Borscht Belt coming out of vaudeville.
Yeah.
You know,
Pre-Vegas
sensibilities.
thing. It was the Vegas kind of. That's what Vegas was built on. But
Yeah, that's what Vegas was built on.
next to gambling. But yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but showbiz style wise, yeah, it was like, you know, coming
So
out of like,
you mixed that.
old holes.
So I thought Elvis was Donny Osmond and Donny Osmond was Elvis. I didn't know shit because I was 7.
Because on the variety show, they probably do blue suede shoes.
Yep,
And,
and
Donnie is dressed up literally in blue suede shoes.
As Elvis.
In a fancy denim suit.
Yep, he had the full-on sequin fucking everything like
Oh, did
Elvis.
he?
Oh yeah, I had a 45 record of blue suede shoes, and it was Donny Osmond's blue suede shoes. I had no idea it was fucking Elvis.
No, I mean, we knew nothing when we were kids.
No, I
we
was
knew
7.
nothing.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything back then.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know how you found anything out.
I know. I don't even know either. Yeah, you're right. I don't even know unless it came across the TV lines or somebody mentioned it at school or possibly church. But yeah, I don't know how how do we figure anything out?
I remember an older cousin mentioned it to me about Steve Martin, and when I was like a little kid, you know, when he's got the arrow through the head, wild and crazy guy. And I'm like, how do you find out about this? And they're like, oh, he was on Saturday Night Live. I'm like, what is Saturday Night Live?
You're right.
You know?
I think I had a cousin who mentioned Kiss for the first time, and I was like, Kiss? What are you talking about? He goes, you didn't. And then literally like 3 months later, Kiss was on like a Muppet show or something like that. And then it was like, oh, that's who he was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know how I first saw Kiss. but it was definitely like they were sort of all over when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like it was ubiquitous. But like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how we all...
I don't remember how I ever first saw Kiss.
But I think too, well, not so much magazine, but bookstores and magazine stores were a thing. So, like I'd walk, like I remember walking like right into parents would go to like a Rite Aid or kind of one of those stores, or a CVS kind of type store. I'd go right for the magazine rack, comic books, magazine racks, and you'd see all the magazine racks. So you just go, oh look, well, okay, I'd open that. Oh, Sonny and Cher, oh okay, you know. So I'd just be flipping through things, looking at pictures and things were starting to mix.
Yeah, that's true because it like we did grow up with that whole literate generation that was voraciously reading newspapers to where they used to have 3 editions of newspapers every day.
Yes,
you know?
Yes, and magazines and newspapers and
Just
things. So the written word was constantly floating there. Whenever you'd go to, like, say, the dentist's office, there'd be a pile of books.
Books and magazines. And
yeah. I mean, they were everywhere.
Shit like Reader's Digest and the National. That's how it was in my house.
They'd be getting delivered to our house. We'd have like 10 different things coming.
Yeah, like 10 magazines coming.
Yeah, and I'd be like, who? I remember my parents going, when did we get a subscription to this? You know, and you're like, all of a sudden you're getting like Motor Trend Weekly. We're like, how do we get Motor Trend?
I remember when Entertainment Weekly came out, and we got Entertainment Weekly, and for some reason it just never clicked in my head that it was weekly.
Yeah.
And so I was used to like the monthly thing, the Reader's Digest, and National Geographic. This thing's coming 4 times a fucking month. Because they're piling up quick, you know?
Right. Yeah. They're piling up.
It's like all of a sudden there's like a library in the bathroom with the fucking Entertainment Weeklies. And my mom started being like, what is going on here? And I'm like, oh, I guess we need to start throwing these out, you know?
Yeah. It was Magazine Central, I know. And I think in those days it'd be like, because I think there was like fundraisers and things like that where they'd like, my parents would get, if they got, say, Good Housekeeping. They wanted Good Housekeeping, but then they pile on Rolling Stone with that, and they go, "What one do you want?" And then Chris would go, "I want Hit Parader," and I would go, "I want Rolling Stone," and then you know, and then I want Kerrang.
Even I had a subscription to Bass Player magazine for like, I don't know how long I did that, like 10 years, 7 years.
Yeah, I always had the Rolling Stone coming. I always had that.
Oh,
coming.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Chris would get Hit Parader. He would bounce between Hit Parader and Cream. Hit Parader seemed to be the one that's how we discovered rock music and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it was mostly photos and shit.
Huh?
It was mostly photos and shit.
Yeah, and then blurbs and ads like, the new record. I hear he's recording a new record.
Yeah, there wasn't any
Peter
deep
Frampton's
writing.
making a new record.
But back in the day when you knew nothing, I mean, at least you know it was like, you know, if you read them regularly, it's like, oh, Van Halen's in the studio, they're out on tour. Like you kind of knew where people were at.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, it's like, what's Ozzy up to? Oh, Ozzy's fucking rehearsing with a new guitar player or whatever, you know.
Yeah. So there was always some kind of blurb that you'd just hang on the blurb till the next blurb.
Yeah. Klaus Meine from the Scorpions, you're like, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Or Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah, and TV didn't have until MTV came along. There wasn't really music. It was relegated to the magazines.
It was. I remember when I first got into like metal and stuff, looking at like the inside of like an Iron Maiden album and reading the names of the people in the band and not knowing who anybody was.
Yeah.
You know, or like looking at a picture of the band and being like, I don't know who any of these people are. You know, it was just very foreign to me. And I remember like learning the names and, you know, figuring it out, and then
I like that though.
Starting to be real familiar with it, you know.
Yeah. But we didn't know until MTV came along. We didn't really know. Like you didn't get
to see them.
Yeah.
Unless you saw them live.
Right.
Which living in an area was like...
Or they had a TV crossover, like, say, Rick Springfield was on General Hospital, so we knew who Rick Springfield was. But, I mean, nobody really...
Or, once again, like the Muppet shows or the variety shows. Because we were looking at that old Paul Lynde Halloween special. And they got Kiss just hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, Kiss makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's 1977 and Kiss was big. Disco was starting to come in.
Which, speaking of which, for a callback to that, go to the Halloween episode, look at the comments section. I pasted the link to the Paul Lynde special disco.
To the whole special?
Not the whole special. I just put but it has the link to that in that. But that's just the disco song, but Kiss makes an appearance in it, so.
I mean, these variety shows were...
Oh, they're horrible, but we watched them, and I think I liked the... See, that goes back to you and I were talking today, and I was like, I don't know if... like if somebody goes, hey, what was something you liked when you were a kid? And I go, I don't know if I liked it or I just watched it because I just watched everything. Like, I don't remember what I liked. I just remember I watched everything. It's like I watched QVC. I don't care.
Well, that was the name of the game when we were growing up watching TV. Was the like whatever you could stand.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna watch TV because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
It's like what's
you pick
on?
the least shitty option. There was nothing I liked. It was just pick the least shitty option.
Yeah, there was like 4 or 5, maybe 6 channels with some Canadian ones back when we were kids.
Right.
And then we got cable, and it was channels 2 through 36. And a couple of channels got skipped. I don't think.
Yeah, and cable wasn't that great back then. That was like C-SPAN and QVC and like weird shit.
You had your HBO, Showtime, Cinemax,
Telemundo,
and you had your
weird. Yeah,
you had your block of the
Spanish
Spanish ones, the Christian ones, the shopping ones.
Yeah, a golf thing. Yeah, there wasn't really much
typical
happening.
stuff. But it wasn't like all with the specialized channels.
No.
Like even History Channel was too specialized. Like a channel just for history, who would watch?
Yeah, that was almost like an extra add-on. That was almost like I think you had to pay up for that one.
Yeah, but I do remember a time when the History Channel actually had history stuff on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember there was a time I used to learn stuff from the Learning Channel.
This is true.
But
yeah. Speaking of TV, okay.
Oh wait, I had to tell you my other movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the first one was Late Night with the Devil. So check that out. That's a good one.
And the same actor from that is going to be in this one.
He's in this other movie, which is called Last Voyage of the Dimeter.
Last Voyage of the Dimeter. That sounds familiar. Is that the one? Is the Dimeter the vampire one? Dimeter was the one where they brought over fucking Frankenstein. No, yeah. I said Frankenstein. They brought over
I love Young Frankenstein.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right. In the book Dracula,
Dracula.
There's a bit in there about how this ghost ship turned up on the coast of England. And it was a ship called the Dimeter, which was coming from Romania to London. And it was carrying amongst its cargo was 50 crates of, dirt or, from Romania or whatever. So the ship just like is found like beached or whatever, like nobody on it. And they don't know what happened to everybody who was on it. So ostensibly, spoiler alert, Dracula was on it.
Right.
So
And he's in the dirt.
yeah, he's in one of the crates.
Yeah. Well, think about that though. That's a good premise, scary.
Right.
And it's probably like a murder-y thing, a whodunit mixed with a, oh my God, we're being stalked.
Yeah, with a little bit of the sort of like paranoia from The Thing,
Yeah.
where it's like one of us is doing this. You know what I mean? But production design was great. Looked great. Cinematography was great. Production design was great. Actors were all great. It was really fucking really well done. Yeah, really fucking.
Is this something you watch on your own, or does your girlfriend watch it with you?
My girlfriend watched it with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say she seems like she would like that.
Well,
being a period piece.
we were going to watch these back around Halloween, but we just never got around to it.
Yeah. The Dimeter.
Yeah, Last Voyage of the Dimeter.
All right, yeah, I got to put that on the list. That sounds interesting. I know. I think her and I saw the trailer and we were both like, "Ooh, wow!" But we never got back to it.
And David Smolchin is the first mate.
Okay.
On that one. Yeah. So those are both good. Those are both fun. And in the same vein, oh my God, I think they got me. Oh, they got me. Weren't you telling me the other day? Was it you that sent me a link to the trailer for that new Nosferatu remake?
No.
Oh, maybe it was Hopkins sent it to me.
No, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
about that.
so I think Nosferatu came out in 1924 or 22.
Sure.
So it's been like 100 years. So if you haven't seen it, go look up the Nosferatu 2024 or 2025 trailer.
Okay.
Man, that looks good.
Like Spookarookie.
Dude, it's Nosferatu, which is like proto Dracula, But actually, I think Nosferatu was based off Dracula, but like not Dracula, because there's probably still copyright.
Salem's Lot bullshit. This is Nosferatu.
Did you watch the Salem's Lot on HBO?
Not the remake, no.
Okay.
No. The first one terrified me as a child.
Oh, the old made-for-TV one?
Yeah, that was kind of one of my first scary movies. I was like...
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I was terrified. I think I watched it on TV, because of course it was on TV, like a 3-part mini. That was one of those ones where the parents send you to bed and they watch it, but then I sneak out and I watch it from the side of the bed or side of the couch. And then when the parents go, "Why are you staying up? What are you afraid of?" Why are all the lights on? He's scratching at the window.
Oh, yeah.
The kid scratching at the window got me. I couldn't shake it.
No, I didn't see it back when I was a kid. I remember when it was on when I was a kid. But it's like you said, the parents shivvy you off to bed and, then they're watching it.
Right.
And I think I asked about it and they said, I think my dad said it was about pilgrims.
Well, not too far off.
Just so you'd be like, oh, it's not interesting.
David Carradine. Huh.
No, wasn't it, was it David Carradine?
I don't know.
David Soul.
David Soul, that's it.
Yeah, Starsky.
Yeah, Starsky.
No, Hutch. Was he Hutch? Yeah. Starsky
was he Starsky or was he Hutch?
I think Starsky was Paul Michael Glaser.
Yeah, Starsky.
David Soul was Hutch.
Yeah, which that ties into what your list is about to be.
Oh, you want to go into list time?
Let's go list.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, Mikey had a list.
I got the list this week.
His list. According to Mike, what's the premise?
So today's premise is going to be.
Now, normally I don't do prep. I like to get the surprise attack on this one, but he preempted me for it, and I'm glad he did because I was able to write a list too.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you and I were going to do the same list. So I've actually got like 3 lists kicking around on here. So I forget which one it was.
Oh, sweet Jesus! I got the action one.
Okay, cool. Then let's do the action.
Let's go with that.
Let's do the action ones. Okay, so this is top 5, bottom 5 action TV shows from when we were kids.
Action TV shows from when we were kids.
And when we were kids, when we say that, we're talking essentially like...
Yeah, if you're a Gen Xer like us,
75 to 85-ish. I don't remember too much prior to 75.
Yeah, but even 85, yeah.
85,
you could be in that wheelhouse and you
87-ish.
probably got it in syndication, but you'll probably know most of these.
Yeah, but things definitely changed on TV after like 1990.
Oh, yeah. This is pre-1990.
Yeah, but 70s and 80s was sort of like this like bubble of unreality. Right. So we're all in the same gang when you go there. Right, okay, all right. So
you going best or worst first?
What do you feel like? You want to do best first?
Let's do best.
All right. Okay, so I'll start off. I got a kind of an obscure number 5.
Okay.
But, so I remember like 80 or something like that? Mm-hmm. Remember the Fall Guy?
Oh yeah, that was $1 Million Man guy.
Yeah.
Lee Majors.
Right. And it was all about stunt people in the film industry.
Right.
Yeah.
And didn't Brad Pitt just do a remake of that there?
Yeah, he did. I think so, yeah.
Fall Guy.
Right.
Okay, we liked the Fall Guy. It was a great concept.
Yeah, so it was a good concept,
Lee Majors was cool then.
Like every episode they had a movie stunt, like 2 like movie stuntmen, gigs where they're filming something, they're jumping off a roof, they're blowing something up, crashing a car, whatever it is, and then there's a couple of action scenes in the actual story of whatever they're doing,
And the 70s shows always had that. Now in the 70s, we all liked the stunt guy. You don't hear about stunt guys nowadays, but in the 70s, we liked the stunt guy because every show had to have a stunt. And we all knew the stunt guy was the dude.
Yeah.
So they made a show about the stunt guy. Great idea.
It was sort of coming out of the realm of some of the Burt Reynolds movies. He was friends with a guy named Hal Needham, who was a stunt coordinator. And because of Burt Reynolds' clout, he was able to sort of get Hal Needham the ability to go from stunt coordinator to director.
Yeah.
For things like, Cannonball Run, Stroker Ace.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Did he have something to do with Smokey and the Bandit?
Maybe some of the ones later on.
He might have directed the first one. I'm not sure. But Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds, they had a series of, what was one where Burt Reynolds was a stuntman? Jan Michael Vincent was the Hooper. Yep. Yeah. So there was a lot of that going on at the time. Yeah.
So a little back. Okay, so 5. You got Fall Guy on yours. I don't have Fall Guy on my list. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little obscure.
But cool.
What do you got for number 5 action?
Mine was, I loved it. Magnum PI.
Yeah, Magnum PI.
I love the Magnum PI. I did. I liked the TC's helicopter flying over Hawaii. I liked the Rick, and the acting was good. The dogs. He lived with, not the new Magnum PI. If you're into the new Magnum PI,
the new one.
Yeah, they redid it, which is not as bad as you think. It's fine, but the original there's something about it. The original gravitas of Tom Selleck and them, really good. The relationship him and Higgins, it's good. Magnum PI, you're gonna like it. And it has a lot of throwback to the Vietnam War because you're an ex-Vietnam guy. So you have Vietnam.
That was how they all knew each other.
Yeah.
Him and his buddy, what was Larry, and then TC with the chopper.
Yeah, and Larry was the connection guy. He was the nightclub guy, owner.
What was that? The actor? Was the actor's name Larry Manetti?
Maybe. Yeah, it was Rick and TC.
Rick.
Rick.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
Larry Benetti. You're right.
Yeah, that's the actor.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I know his last name?
Yeah. So yeah, my 5 was Magnum PI.
Okay. All
What do you got for 4?
4. This may be a little esoteric, but I just remember when I was a kid enjoying the show and it was on. Hunter, with
John Michael Vincent?
No. With what? J. Michael Vincent? No.
I don't know.
Not Airwolf. No, Hunter with Fred Dreyer and Stephanie Kramer.
I didn't watch that. I don't know.
It was an NBC cop show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was almost sort of like a Dirty Harry type.
I didn't watch that.
He would just come in and like fucking kick ass and shit. And Stephanie Kramer was his partner. She's like, got the black hair, black leathery mini skirt, like bright blue blouse, leather jacket over that. And she's always like, let's just shoot him. Like she's always good to go.
Oh yeah. They always had to have one of those.
I like that show. That was one of those with the Mike Post theme song,
That's not bad.
Those Donald P. Belisario ones. Yeah. I always enjoyed Hunter. I used to watch
that a Belisario?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on NBC's. I used to watch that. That was a fun show.
All right. What else you got?
Okay. What's your number 4?
My 4 was, good old classic action. I hate to say it, Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard, your number 4?
Yeah, that goes to number 4. Dukes of Hazzard, pretty good. I mean, a little corny. The voiceover was dumb and it was corny, but it always had some good shoot 'em up. Leaps in cars. Everything was fun.
Right.
It was lighthearted,
right.
But it had action, had good pacing. They never lingered too long on things.
Right.
The pacing of every episode. So
they kept it moving.
Yeah. And they'd always have the little tie-in to lead you to the next episode.
With Waylon Jennings.
The Waylon Jennings part, right?
Uh-oh, looks like those Duke boys are in trouble now.
Oh boy, stay tuned till next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Okay. All right.
3.
Number 3. I'm going with The A-Team.
Oh my gosh, yes. I had that on honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah.
But the A-Team is good. You're right. I like the A-Team a lot.
A-Team was always pretty solid. There was always an action bit up front that set up whatever the hell's going on. Then we cut to the crew. They're doing a thing. You know what I mean? Then the people meet up, talk, make a plan. They do a thing. It backfires in their face. They regroup. They go again. There's another action scene. So those good
all the actors were good. Mr. T was fine. Dirk Benedict was cool. The white-haired dude with the cigar was
George
good. George Papard, yeah.
And Mad Dog Murdoch was...
Mad Dog Murdoch, right, the crazy
Schultz.
guy. Yeah, he was fun.
Because he was later on Star Trek Next Generation. He was
Oh,
Reginald
really?
Barkley.
Yes. I even had, in my honorable mentions, Next Generation, which I wasn't sure if that could make the action cut. You think Star Trek Next Generation?
That's right at the cutoff of 87.
I know. So that's why...
Because things got different after
that's
that.
an extra list. So, okay. My next one, my third was Chips. You gotta love the Chips. I like the Chips. We talked about it a couple lists back. You just gotta watch an old episode. If you watch it for anything, watch it for the car pileups.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna get into this. So my number 2 is Dukes of Hazzard. Okay. My number 1 is Chips.
Oh, okay.
And basically the way this breaks down for me is car jumps. Right? Dukes of Hazzard was always good. They always destroyed a couple of lovely 1969 Dodge Chargers in every episode.
Yes.
At least 2.
And cop cars.
At least 2. Yeah, those, what were those Fords? Yeah. Yeah, so they were always, destroying probably 2 to 4 cars in Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah. But Chips was destroying 7 to 15 cars every episode.
And pileups on the California highway.
That's what I'm saying. There would be there's either 2 big scenes or there's one massive full-size sedans launching and flipping over. And
yeah. You got to watch Chips just for that. You can watch it without sound. Turn the sound off. Just watch the visual.
And I think I was saying in a really old episode that when I watched Chips recently, the thing that I notice is when they're doing these highway crash-up sequences, I'm looking at how bright and pristine the concrete is. Which tells me these are new construction sections of the highways.
Oh, I never thought of that.
So these are probably highways that people drive on in California to this day.
Yeah.
That they use to blow up buses and launch, 18-wheelers full of gasoline.
Well, or
Sailing through the
maybe,
air.
and also back then, you couldn't stop traffic
That's it. That's the other thing.
nowadays.
Because if it's a section that they're doing construction on or whatever, there's already no traffic on it. No one's missing it.
Yeah, I always wondered how they filmed that because
Yeah.
they'll show like aerial shots
Yeah.
of the California highway. And back then in 78, they didn't have the gridlock that they have
They
nowadays.
did not, man.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, there was a lot of
shocking.
space between cars.
Yeah, and if you see something from like the 60s or whatever, like there's no traffic in Southern California.
I know,
People just
which is
roll
weird.
along. Yeah, it's amazing.
Which people from California are like, oh, you have no idea.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I drove.
So you got Chips and Dukes for your
Yeah.
2
So
and 1.
Chips and Dukes, because they were both fairly good with the action. You know, they always had the scenes in it. They knew what we were there for. They gave it to us. Car crashes, the chases. Like how many times you see that shot of the generally going around? There's that tree right there, and oh, they just missed the tree.
And it was fun.
right.
And it was always lit up well. You know, you never had to question what you're seeing.
Yeah, and Chips, like, I remember, like Chips was the one that it was like, oh, it's Chips time. No. You know, fucking in front of the
Oh,
TV,
you're
like-
right. Yeah, me and Chris were, we were glued to the Chips.
Yeah, and you're sort of into the story, and you know the fucking dumb Ponch and dumb John. And,
Yeah,
you know.
Ponch. Yeah, there's always some kind of girlfriend thing.
When you watch it now, the character development is so lame and hokey. But when I was a kid, I was totally in,
Yeah.
100% in.
Yeah.
Loved it. All made sense. Yeah. So all right. So that's where I'm at on my top. That's my top.
Well,
two.
I got
What
a
do you
2 and a 1. Now my 2 is a twofold because I put it down. I went Battlestar Galactica. Do you
Okay.
remember original Battlestar Galactica? Speaking of Dirk Benedict was in there.
Right. Faceman.
Good sci-fi. The Cylon Raiders were pretty good, but I co did that with a miniseries they had back then. Do you remember V?
Yeah, I do.
V. Now you guys might want to look that one up if you don't know what I'm talking about. It was the talk of the school year.
It was on NBC. NBC hyped it up for like a year.
Yes, V. It was an alien thing.
So here's the thing in the sort of early 80s, 82, 83, 84. What they started to figure out marketing movies is they would make music videos to promote movies like a year before the movie came out. And so by the time the movie came out, everybody was so ready to see the movie because it had 3 or 4 hit songs associated with it. These are movies like Flashdance and Footloose. you know? And that marketing paid off huge. So everybody started to do this like long form marketing.
Sure.
The ramp up to V was excessive.
Excessive.
They were pimping it. They were like, "What is V?" And nobody knew. We're like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it were basically aliens who and they'd peel their faces off and they'd be humans, but peel it off and they'd be reptilians underneath. They ate mice. There's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Just watch V.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
But my number one, I think the best action of them all, and I don't know when they made it, but I remember running home to catch old first seasons of Miami Vice.
Oh, I forgot about
Miami Vice, because it had the cop show. It had a solemnness and a seriousness about it. But then the rock music would tie in. They would also have cool lighting.
Yep.
They had good-looking girls. They had
cinematography
and multiple storylines that would intertwine episodes.
Yeah,
So
I
it had
totally
all the layers. It had everything you would want out of everything was Miami Vice.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Very stylized. I mean,
That was my number one.
That was the first thing on TV that actually was reflecting what was going on cable with like MTV and stuff like that.
Yes, yes.
And MTV, and also, you know, remember there were always these like sexy thrillers by like Michael Mann.
Yeah.
And who's the other one? Like that one guy that went to film school with Lucas and those guys. Like he always made those sort of movies, like To Live and Die in L.A. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Some with like Tom Berenger and. You know, some hot chick and somebody's playing a saxophone.
But that was the one that was the first one they started incorporating a real seriousness and rock and roll and almost made it like a rock video. And there would be the song. And of course, the Phil Collins In the Air Tonight was the classic one they blended in. But everything
they
had
did
a rock
a lot.
video feel.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be on a boat. They'd have a boat scene. And the music's playing as they're riding on the boat chasing the drug dealers, you know.
Yeah. There was, because it always started off, there was something on land where they're doing some sort of like, you know, they're either undercover or they're doing a bust and they're going in and they get a guy and he tells them some information and then they got to suss out the information and they go and do the thing and with the boats and the helicopter and
you would get the crashes, you get boat crashes, it had all the elements of everything.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually a really strong one. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
totally forgot about that.
That was a good one. Now. I
that
have
was
honorable
good.
mention, which
I just want to revel in that for a second more because you're right because it's so tonally different. It was so much more serious than most of the schlocky shit that was on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, not to slag on shit too much, but shit like, Rockford Files, Beretta, Starsky and Hutch, very TV-ish sort of stuff.
And it had a hokey dialogue to it.
It did. And that Miami Vice, it felt more like a movie. It was much more cinematic.
Yes, and it was kind of like a rock video, and there was a lot of innuendo. That's why I think I picked up on it at an early age. Much like we were talking about the biopic earlier, I hate when a director or a writer describes a scene through excessive talking and backstories through talking. Now, Miami Vice was a show that they could just show a dream sequence or something, or he would assume something, and it would just be like a series of shots.
Yeah,
and you could imagine it. Yes, and things were subtle, like an eye twitch.
That's the filmmaking axiom is show, don't tell.
Yes, and I love that. Yeah. I picked up on it as a kid, and then when you see things when they start over blabbing and talking, you're like, oh, come on, that's not real. Stop it.
Like when they're in the office talking to the captain, like, why are we here? Get out of here.
Yeah. I would have got away with it.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that's a strong one. That's good.
All right, yeah.
Okay. All right, good one. All right, now, bottom 5 actions.
Ooh, the worst ones.
Yeah. All right.
I had a 5. Here's a 5. I got a bad one for you, which I hated.
All right.
Some people might put it on their good list. I put it on the bad list. Kung Fu.
Oh, I can see that.
Boring. Pacing sucked. It was
that.
grinded to a halt. I fell asleep every time.
Yep. And I'll tell you, that kind of goes with my whole theme for all of these is I mainly put these on the list because, they got me. They always had the promise of action. Yes. Like it's an action movie or it's an action show, there's going to be action. And then oftentimes there isn't.
No, I know. The only thing I liked about Kung Fu was maybe the fact that you would mix the Oriental fighting thing with the cowboys time frame, That was kind of cool, like a mix in the Oriental aspect, the Asian aspect with the cowboys and Indians, so the time frame was kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But the pacing honestly sucked.
I've never even seen an episode because of the pacing, because it's so.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of Westerns, so I had nothing to like.
Yeah, I remember my brother popping it on and going, dude, we're going to watch Kung Fu. And I'd be asleep in 3 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, glacial pacing. That's how I was trying to watch Westworld on HBO.
Well, that's a hard one to follow.
That's a hard one to follow.
I got confused. I had to actually watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Westworld was a hard one to follow.
Yeah. It was real hard to follow.
I had to watch some YouTube things. Okay.
We'll talk about Westworld some other time.
Yeah, we'll have a Westworld day.
Okay, here's my number 5. This may be super controversial, but I'm going to explain why. Because, like I said, they promise action, but there's not always action. OG Star Trek. It's a little bit before our time, but when I was a kid, it was ubiquitous in reruns, and it did not grab me. I did not have any interest in watching it.
Yeah, that was one of those things I just watched because it was on. And I watched it because it was all right. Some episodes are fine, but
it's colorful.
Yeah, colorful. It was colorful. It was space. I liked anything that had to do with space. I was in, but no.
Yeah, I was always going there expecting action scenes. Sometimes there was no action. The whole thing was just.
I used to hate when they go to like a different world. It's kind of like what they did with Next Generation, and they would do the holodeck episodes. I hated when they would go, "Oh, we're going to go to this world, and it's 1940s.
It's the 1920s.
Yeah, it's the 1920s." And you go, "Oh, stop it!"
And they're on the back lot with the fucking Model Ts and the pinstripe suits and the Tommy guns. It's like, oh,
yeah, stop it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there was a whole Star Trek Voyager had a whole thing where they got taken over by what was it like? Cardassians or something like that, and they turned the whole holodeck into like a World War II scenario.
Oh yeah.
So now they're in occupied France for like a season or something.
Yeah, like a holodeck malfunction.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. All right, number 4. My worst TV action shows.
All right, what's your number 4?
This is fucking a really esoteric pull, man. But I just remember being a little kid, and it's like, oh, this will be fun. This will be actiony. And there was just never enough action to really make it fun. BJ and the Bear.
Oh, yeah. I know. You're right. I like the idea of it. I was all up for BJ and the Bear. And I was
Right?
like, but it... I mean, he
It
might
never
go...
delivered.
Yeah. Sure, they would try to find the jewel thief.
Yeah,
But
right.
there's never any fighting with the jewel thief. They would just catch the jewel thief and then turn him in.
Yeah, the monkey jumps on his back, he falls to the ground.
Yeah, okay, we'll just wheel him into the police office.
Like I said, most of
there's
these on my
no
list,
fight, there's no teeth to
yeah,
it.
it's all for disappointment.
Yes.
He's all disappointed me.
And a trucker and a monkey, I mean, come on, you're setting me up for something good here, and we didn't get it.
That's what I'm saying.
BJ and the Bear, I forgot about that one.
Disappointment. Yeah,
BJ and the Bear.
yeah, that's on my list. That's how disappointed I was in it.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a number 4. Charlie's Angels sucked to me.
You know, I'm with you there.
The girls were beautiful. I liked looking at them. They're hot. But the fight scenes were just so hokey. I mean,
I was
the way
talking to the girlfriend about this because she liked the Charlie's Angels.
I could see where a girl would like it. I mean, from a guy's point of view, I was like, oh, the fight scenes suck.
Yeah, every time I tried watching it, I found it incredibly boring. They were just driving around town talking to people.
Yeah, and then using their good looks to outsmart the dumb boys.
Yeah, or like get information because they would like flirt with some guy or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But also, I seem to remember that I could never quite catch it to actually see it. And I seem to remember, like when I was like 6 or 7 or something like that, it was like Tuesday nights or something like that. And I don't know if there was some sitcom that I was watching from 8 to 8:30. And so it would always be like, oh, it's Tuesday night. But it would be like halfway through and I'd be like, I don't know what's going on. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember it was around. I remember it was a thing and I wanted to check it out, but I never really got to check it out. And anytime I did get a chance to sort of check it out, I was so bored with what was going on. Like I said, I was young. And I was saying to my girlfriend, like at the time, I could get the same sort of thing watching Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But
Wonder Woman had action at least.
And you got Linda Carter.
Yeah. Linda Carter still to this day beautiful. God, I loved Linda Carter.
Right?
Yeah, I had a
So
crush.
it was like, I could watch Linda Carter guarantee kicking ass every week for a half hour.
Sure.
Or, maybe there's something going on in Charlie's Angel. I wasn't, it was too young for...
Yeah. And the premises were just like,
sleuthing.
Yeah. Charlie's Angel stinks.
And plus, it wasn't like they were like, putting on disguises and going undercover or something fun. You know what I mean?
No, they would just use their smarts to outsmart the men.
Yeah, they'd like drive around in the daytime and ask questions of fucking people working at a jewelry store or whatever.
Yeah. It just wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening.
They'll be like, he had a plaid coat? I see. Ad break or whatever.
Right, yeah.
All right. So yeah, no, I totally get that. I totally get that.
Number 3, what do you got?
Number 3 for bottom 5 for action.
We're getting down to the worst of the worst here.
Oh, we're getting into controversies now. Let me check my important...
And if these are on anybody's best list, well, this ain't the pod for you.
This one's on your best list.
Was it?
Battlestar Galactica.
You call it the worst.
It's number 3 on my worst because, like I said, this is all about promise of action and disappointment.
You're right. There was not a lot of action. There was suspense, but there was not action.
And I feel like early on in that first season, it was coming off of action because it was coming off of the movie, which is the 2-part, series premiere or whatever. I feel like it was pretty good in that first season, but as it went on, it was less and less action.
I farted.
Did you shit your pants?
Yeah, I farted. All right. But, okay, so, Battlestar, that's right. It had the two movie thing beforehand, which was good, and then they followed it up with the weekly series, which was not.
And by the second season, much less action, a lot more yappy yap.
I forgot about that. You're right. So maybe I was just kind of judging it good on the first 2, and I wasn't thinking about the 2 seasons afterwards. That
you know what
pretty
pound
shitty.
for pound would beat it for reliable action? Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
I had that on there, but I took it off. Buck Rogers stunk. Yeah,
I like
Tweaky and Bug. It was Tweaky. I could not get past how dumb the robot Tweaky was. The beady. But hello, Buck.
I know.
And Dr. Theopolis was on
Yeah,
Buck.
it was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was fun. I always liked, what was it, fucking Princess Ardala or whatever.
Yeah.
The fucking...
Erin Gray as...
Yeah.
She had the leather
Commander
suit on.
Wilma Deering.
Yeah, Wilma Deering, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
My 3 was kind of a which they're to me, are the two kind of similar shows. I feel like they're written by the same people, but they probably weren't. Knight Rider stunk.
Oh yeah, Knight Rider was fucking terrible. Once again, promise of action.
I know, and a talking car.
Yeah, and like 3 minutes of like 2 stunts at the end. It's like, this is the cheapest
talking car. Yeah. And
what are you gonna do? Drive through the
trying to be all
desert? Oh, you're
stunned.
driving through the desert.
Oh, I know. And Airwolf was the same thing. Airwolf stunk. I don't know why Airwolf and Knight Rider. Maybe because they're on next to each other. I don't know. I don't know why.
Was Airwolf on NBC? Yeah, it was on NBC.
Yeah, I want to say, yeah. When I think of Knight Rider, I think of Airwolf. And when I think of Airwolf, I think of Knight Rider. That's why I put them side by side.
When I think back, there was not a lot
stink.
of ABC watching.
Yeah, they stink.
No, yeah.
Stink.
No, they were. Once again, promise of action, but no real action.
No. That's it. That's it.
Number 2. Here's my number 2. Magnum PI.
You didn't like the Magnum PI.
It's not that I didn't like
liked it.
I liked Magnum PI. I liked the feel of it. I liked the tone of it. I liked the setting. I liked the characters. But once again, it's this promise of action that they're delivering this. They're promising this much action, and they're delivering two little scenes. Something happens at the beginning. Magnum gets hurt, and then at the end, there's a little bit of an action thing where they catch the bad
and it's
guy.
always just like, and there's never a foe that was very formidable. It
Right.
was always just like a jewel thief,
Right.
or like an old revenge trip from Vietnam.
Yeah, it's always some hoodlum from the continental U.S. who's out here in Hawaii because this is where they run to with the loot or something.
Yes. It was a money laundering. Money in it. Yes, somebody stole the briefcase with the money in it.
Yeah,
And it wasn't really. There wasn't a formidable foe. So.
Yeah, so I like the show. I enjoy the show. It was fun and all that. But
Yeah.
action-wise, I feel like it just never really delivered.
You're right. It had too much front porch, too much setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot.
No, and even if it were for some fun sleuthing or something like that, but once again, it's just Magnum driving around, getting out of the car, ambling up, talking and smiling at people. Hey, can you answer?
Well, this ties into my number 1. Okay, you got a number 2 there?
That's why Magnum PI is number 2.
I got a number 1, but these all tie
Wait,
together.
did we do your number 2?
Yeah. Well, I had it, but then I realized this might be out of sequence.
Oh, okay.
Baywatch stunk.
Oh, Baywatch is terrible, but that was like 90s.
That's what I was thinking. I know. So
Yeah, that's a little bit
I had to pull that off the list. But this is going to all tie into my number 1, worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. Because now, but you go for your number 1.
Okay, I'll go for mine.
Okay.
So once again, letdown of the expectation, the promise, and then the letdown. Fantasy Island.
Oh yes.
Fantasy Island was a great
concept.
setup, and like anything could happen, like something interesting, something nutty. Nope, it was always just somebody pining for a lost love. Somebody.
Yeah, there's always a lost love, and then there was a person who'd never lived out their dreams. Like one guy wanted to be an auto racer, so he would get in a speeding thing.
Yeah. I want to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
It's like Make-A-Wish kid for film.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was 70s. Yeah.
The setup
Could
was
have been
great.
cool.
I love Ricardo Montalban, Jorge Villachez, and like everything, and it's like yeah, anything can happen on this island. It's like magical island, and that's what I thought when I was a kid. Then you watch like half a dozen episodes, and you're like, when's something interesting gonna happen?
Yeah. That was never happened.
Yeah, so it promised it, never paid it off. So therefore, top of my list.
And now, my number 1 is a series of shows, and this is why they all never paid off any episode. And now how I knew this was their titles. And their titles were always cop shows that had the two partners' names. Here we go. How about the old Hardcastle and McCormick, the Simon and Simons, the Scarecrow and Mrs. King, the Cagney and Lacey, or the Starsky and Hutches? All of them. The two cops, the two people, and the setup.
Buddy cop shows. Yeah, no, you're right. You're
Junk.
right. No, you're right. 100%. Because once again, the promise is this is an action show. Mm-hmm. It's a cop show. But the reality is it's a buddy cop show. There's a lot of talking, a lot of character development. They got to have time to work on their issues.
Yeah, and their little
but then they
odd
gotta
couple
work the
thing.
case.
Yeah. And they have their little disagreements along the way. They see the world in different ways.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because they promise to be action, but very little. A little nugget at the beginning, a little thing at the end, and that's it. In the middle they'll catch a perp on the street. They'll catch a pickpocket or a fucking
it's
purse
always
snatcher.
a money launderer or a jewel thief. I always think of the jewel thief. In the 70s, it was always they stole Mrs. Smith's diamonds from her hotel room.
How come they didn't ever make a show where like the cops like work the whole case, and right when they got it all figured out, the feds swoop in and take it from them?
Right.
And the cops like, oh,
Jewel thieves.
let's go drink our sorrows away. Anyway, so
Yeah.
all right, so that's the list. Action shows.
Hope you
With
liked
their
it.
kids.
Wow,
Yeah.
we're doing good on time. Wow, we ran a little long, but that's all right. We don't have a time constraint.
And granted, the lists are very subjective. This is just our opinions from when we were kids, what we liked and were looking for, and what we were let down by. So if you got anything to say about it, hit us up in the comments. Tell us what you think. Is there anything we forgot about? Because I was racking my brain trying to think of this stuff today, and it got to where I was just hearing the same thoughts over and over again. So if we forgot something that was truly a letdown, let us know in the comments, please. That'll be fun.
Yes, we need more comments. Come on, let's get a community going. I want to get a chat group. I want to get you guys all yelling and screaming at each other. I want you going, "Hey, Aaron, that show sucked or that list sucked. Hey, Mike, that's great." I want interaction down here in the old feed.
I want to hear from the Knight Rider apologists.
Oh yeah, is any of the Hasselhoffers out there?
Oh my God!
They're kind of like dumb. Imagine like if he had his own Swifties, it'd be like the Swifties attacked you, but you got attacked by Hasselhoffers. Hassenpfeffers.
That'll work.
Well, have a good one. Thanks for tuning into the Shlicketty Doocast. See you next week, friends.